So let's try something easy, which is like, so this is problem 122, right? So x to the fourth plus 1. So how did you think about it? I just want to understand, how did you think about this problem?
So I first I will do this one.
You didn't do this one. Okay. How did you think about this problem? You did this one. How did you think about this? You thought of it in form a squared minus a squared plus b squared, okay? a squared plus b squared की form में, ठीक है? So this would be like x squared squared plus 1 squared, okay? Then what?
Then I multiplied 1 with the, like I did x squared minus 1 times 1 squared.
I'm confused. So x squared squared. So this is equal to, should I write it equal to? Okay. So this would be x squared squared, then oh, so then you'll say plus minus 1 squared. No.
It's minus multiplied by minus 1.
Minus multiplied by minus 1. Okay, so now what?
And then you multiply it by 1 squared. You multiply by 1 squared.
I multiply everything by 1 squared.
Only 1 squared.
Okay, now what?
Now, so it's basically minus 1 squared, and then you convert it into, you basically take the square root of this. I don't know how to explain that.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand what you're saying.
So I took the square root of this to cancel out this square, and then it's basically the form a squared minus b squared.
No, आपने, okay, so think about it and we'll cut back. So you think about what you've done and I'll talk to you in 2 minutes after you've thought about it. Think carefully. G, somebody else who tried it. Next second. J, you.
Sir, x power 4 plus 1 plus minus 1 power 4.
X to the fourth plus minus 1 to the power fourth. Okay, and then what?
Then I want to make it just a plus b whole square.
You want to make it a plus b whole squared, okay?
So I will add 2x square, 2x square, and minus 2x square.
You will subtract to minus 2x squared also. So you could potentially say that you will follow which question? You're following a question, right? 119, yeah, 119? Yeah, this is 119. This is problem 119. So actually he did this problem for you. So I'm surprised कि अगर आप दोनों ने ये problem नहीं की, which means आपने किताब नहीं पढ़ी, which is something which does not give me a lot of confidence, कि this is really, आप ये problem की हुई थी in the book, a to the fourth plus b to the fourth is problem 119. So what was there to do? You just had to copy the solution from there. There was nothing else to do. So this is of the form exactly x to the fourth plus 1 to the fourth, and that was the end of the story. There was nothing more to do in there, right? Is that clear? Right? यही आप कह रहे थे ना मुझे मेरे ख्याल में जो आप ये कह रहे थे, it is exactly of this form, okay, it is just of the form a to the fourth plus b to the fourth. Okay? Now, what Samin did was slightly different, right? Okay, so what did you do? So, एक तो ये तरीका है, right? And you get the answer which is whatever, right? So, you get something like x square plus root 2x, नहीं, like something like that, right? क्या है? Plus 1, and then you get x square plus root 2x minus 1 or something like that. इस तरह की कोई factors. Oh, is it right? x to the yeah, okay, I think this has to be positive, this has to be negative. Yeah, this has to be. X to the fourth hoga, then I'll have this term which will cancel this term. Yeah, okay, whatever. So, is that the right answer? Yeah, something like that, whatever. Yeah, okay, fine. So now the thing is, Simi did it slightly differently. So I want to sort of understand what she did. But this is like monkey see, monkey do, right? Monkey sees something, monkey copies something. I saw it, I copied. End of story. No intelligence required. As simple as that. Now, so now explain to me what you were doing. Now, hopefully you have had time to think about it. So now let's look at what your method was. So this is x to the fourth plus 1. So now tell me what were you doing? Excellent. So a squared minus b squared की form में लिखा है. So how did you write it down? Can you? So it was x squared squared. Okay, this is a squared minus you want it to be b squared. So how will it be b squared?
So sir, minus को minus 1 से multiply करोगे, which is going to make positive 1.
Minus को minus 1 से multiply कर दिया.
This is going to make positive 1.
Right.
And उसको 1 squared से multiply. So.
Okay. So, okay. Now what? मैंने कर दिया. Okay. What's the next step now?
So sir, 1 squared times minus 1 is basically nothing. And then I'm going to take square on the side. So I don't know how to explain this.
Let me tell you, I think you did the answer is correct. I'm not convinced that you understand what you've written there. That was what my first feeling was. Okay? So it's not that you're not able to explain, it's that you don't understand, which is different. So let me explain what you have done. And we'll talk about this afterwards. Okay? This is not. So another way to think about it is that you can think of, you learned something about imaginary numbers. So you could use that idea. Okay? Right? So what could you do? You could put it in this form, which is of the form x squared minus square root of 1. Sorry. So now this is of the form a squared minus b squared. When you take the square of the square root of minus 1, what do you get? Minus 1. And minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. So this is the same thing. Is this clear to everybody? Yeah? So this is of the form a squared minus b squared, and you know a squared minus b squared की क्या factorization है? A squared a plus b. So a plus b and a plus b and a minus b. We remember this strange number that I said that mathematicians introduced numbers by looking at solutions to algebraic equations. So remember, this number was a solution to the algebraic equation x squared plus 1 equal to 0. The number that solved this equation was x was equal to, we introduced a new number which was the square root of minus 1. The solution to this equation is the square root of minus 1. We introduced a new kind of number. That was done maybe 2 lectures back. I missed the last lecture. In the lecture before it, we talked about imaginary numbers and complex numbers, right? That's the idea. So you could use this idea, and now you have this factorization of x to the fourth plus 1. लेकिन let me point out कि अगर आप गेल्फांड का तरीका देखें तो उसके अंदर probably this is the way he would like you to factorize it and not this way, because imaginary numbers are something that he only discusses peripherally. He does not discuss it in the mainstream. इसके बारे में कोई सवाल, कुछ question जो यहाँ पे भी हमने किया. So this is probably not what he wanted, but it would be a factorization of this polynomial. This is probably what he wanted because you're staying with real numbers. यहाँ पे you moved into the realm of imaginary numbers, और imaginary numbers पे उसने एक proper पूरा section नहीं रखा हुआ. Okay? So this is probably peripheral to what Gelfand is doing. Any questions about this? All good? समझ आ रहा है? Okay, good. Okay, that's the first question. Okay. So this was easy because you had to just copy what was done, and there wasn't much to do. सवाए किताब को carefully पढ़ने के was all that had to be done. So again, reading Gelfand carefully is a very, very important skill. Okay. The next one, I'm sort of curious, which is x. Okay, so let's try this. X y squared minus z squared plus y z squared minus x squared plus z x squared minus y squared. Okay, so how did people think about this one? Mr. Abdur Rafi ji, किसने सोचा आपने?
सर पहले तो हम इसको सिंपल मतलब जो कॉमन लिया हुआ है x y और z उसे मल्टीप्लाई करवा के
ठीक है, कर लिया. So you want to expand it out?
yes sir.
Okay, कर लिया expand out. फिर क्या होगा?
सर
कुछ आ गया, बस हम mess.
तो सर इसके बाद फिर कॉमन ले लेंगे दोबारा.
क्या चीज़?
सर फिर x ले लेंगे कॉमन और y दो मतलब कॉमन लेंगे.
So how did you extend it? Hold on. So I don't understand. So you say multiply it out. Is that आपने भी इसी तरह किया multiplying it out? आपने भी ये किया है? Everybody, अगर किसी की कोई और suggestions हैं तो I am willing to जी.
Sir, y squared minus z squared is in the form a squared minus b squared.
Okay.
So हम इसको a minus b into a plus b. So y minus b into y plus b.
Okay. So let's look at two methods. So दो methods अभी तक मुझे पता है. एक अभी expansion करना चाहते हैं. एक आप a squared minus b squared का formula use करना चाहते हैं. Any other suggestions? Anybody? Any other suggestions? Just ये दो suggestions हैं. Basic दो तरीकों से काम किया. Okay, so let's look at this. So एक तरीका ये है, which is let me expand it out. Hopefully I won't make too many mistakes. अगर मैं कोई mistakes करूँ तो please मुझे बता दीजिएगा. एक ये तरीका है और एक तरीका इसका यहाँ पे ये है, which is x y plus z y minus z plus y. Is that how you want it, Samin? Okay, z minus x z plus x plus z x plus y x minus y. Okay. So now, Mr. Abdur Rafi, what's your suggestion? What's the next thing we do?
सर जो
It looks like a royal mess right now to me.
सर जो पहले दो टर्म्स हैं फर्स्ट एंड सेकंड और सर फिर फोर्थ और फिफ्थ.
First or second, third, fourth or fifth. Okay?
सर इसमें x कॉमन हो जाएगा.
इसमें x कॉमन ले लूँ.
और
जी.
सर जो दो बच गए हैं उनमें y हो जाएगा.
Okay. Okay.
y is
That's interesting. So you take x common and you have y squared minus z squared और फिर मैंने फर्स्ट सेकेंड फोर्थ और फिफ्थ लेनी थी, राइट? सो x कॉमन लिया, विच वुड बी माइनस वाई एक्स प्लस जी एक्स, और यहाँ पे यू वांट मी टू टेक ये थी वाई जी प्लस वाई जी माइनस वाई जी प्लस वाई जी जी माइनस वाई. ओके, नाउ व्हाट?
सर अब जो y स्क्वायर और माइनस z स्क्वायर
राइट,
सर उसको हम लिख सकते हैं y प्लस c
वाई माइनस सी.
और y माइनस c.
ओके, और इसमें से आपको यहाँ से भी so you will take x, so I'm just going to short change something, right? So you get x y minus y plus z y minus z राइट, यू गेट, इनसे आपको ये मिला, इससे आपको मिलेगा एक्स स्क्वेयर्ड माइनस एक्स स्क्वेयर्ड वाई माइनस सी, राइट, यू गेट माइनस एक्स स्क्वेयर्ड वाई माइनस सी, राइट, एक्स कॉमन ले लिया, एक्स स्क्वेयर्ड कॉमन आ जाएगा एंड यू विल गेट वाई माइनस जी कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम हेयर, और यहाँ पे इफ़ यू राइट माइनस वाई जी you will get y minus c over here. So you will take y minus z common, is that right? Something like this? हाँ, इस तरह की चीज़ कर रहे हैं या कुछ और कर रहे हैं? हाँ, क्या?
मतलब ये जो y plus z से लेके y minus z तक,
हाँ,
इसको एक मतलब ब्रैकेट्स में कर लें और फिर x को
Okay.
करें बस x को.
y minus z, so you can take y minus z out and then it's a royal, okay sorry, मैं ये वाला तरीका तो अच्छा नहीं लग रहा, आप बताएं आप क्या क्या तरीका बता रहे थे, tell me.
बस x से
Here, let me do it your way. So then what do you get?
एक ब्रैकेट मतलब पहले
Parentheses,
y minus z
y minus z, y plus z, right? Okay, फिर
minus x
minus x,
into y minus z.
okay, यही मैंने किया हुआ था, okay,
अब minus yz
okay,
sin z into y minus z.
okay, so we did the same thing, okay, so मैंने खामखा में अपना erase किया था, फिर
उसके बाद सर अब y minus z यहाँ
common है, common ले लेंगे,
सर हम y minus z into
y minus z
सर
common ले लिया,
y plus z
so बाकी parentheses खोल दो, open the parentheses,
जो भी ले लेगा
sorry,
सर x और
x भी common ले लूँ कि x यहाँ पे भी है, x यहाँ पे भी है, यहाँ पे x नहीं है अभी,
सर नहीं मतलब ऐसे ही रहने दें वो parentheses
what do I write next?
सर इससे पहले x लिखें
इस यहाँ पे x लिख दूँ, okay,
सर y minus सर अब y plus z
हाँ,
minus x सर वो जो x
और फिर आपको एक parentheses चाहिए यहाँ पे भी, राइट,
प्लस z के साथ ही लिखते हैं
ओ y plus z minus x, सॉरी, ओके ठीक, ओके,
सर और वो बाकी टर्म
तो ओके, और माइनस बाई जी ये हम इतने स्टेप्स क्यों ले रहे हैं?
नहीं अब लास्ट
हाँ, इसके बाद अब y माइनस जी को फिर कॉमन लेंगे और फिर इन सबको जोड़ देंगे साथ, दैट्स अ फैक्टराइजेशन, ओके, एनी अदर आइडियाज? सो अभी मैं आपका आइडिया लेके चलता हूँ, आई विल टेक योर आइडिया, सो देन y माइनस जी विल बिकम कॉमन एंड यू विल हैव, सो द लास्ट स्टेप विल बी, लेट मी राइट इट आउट, y minus z and then you will have x y plus xz minus x squared minus yz. Is that what everybody who did it this way got? Okay, now I'm going to talk to Samin. जी, मैं यहाँ पे आ गया, so I'm coming over here. जी, नहीं, but help me get to the next step. I don't know how to get to the next step. So now tell me what's the next step.
इसको expand करेंगे then we'll get xy squared minus xz squared.
वो तो फिर आपने इसको वो क्यों किया? फिर हम वहीं सीधे मल्टीप्लाई कर लेते. If you want to expand it out, why did you factorize it?
Because वो ज़्यादा I don't know
I'm just saying कि देखे ना, मैंने ये स्टेप लिया, इसके बाद आप वापस यहाँ पे जा रही हैं. Is that what you're doing? So if you're going from here to here, why take the extra step? I can just multiply it out directly, right? I mean, why would I bother writing this?
सर मतलब मैंने ये अभी मुझे आगे रियलाइज हुआ मतलब जब मैं कर रही थी तो वापस से
Okay, so you did this, then you got to this step, and then what did you do?
सर then it's in the form so मतलब every term is in the form a squared minus b squared.
Every term, no. Where is every term in the form a squared minus b squared?
xy squared minus xz squared is like a squared minus b squared.
No, it's not. It's of the form x multiplied by a squared minus b squared, which is exactly this. This is not of the form a squared minus b squared. Where's the square here? I don't see a square here.
सर मतलब हम कह नहीं सकते कि xy squared जो है वो a squared के इक्वल है.
No, because if xy squared is equal to a squared, then a is equal to square root of x multiplied by y and this is not a polynomial. Square root of x is not a polynomial. We only have whole number powers of x polynomials में जो होते हैं, right? So we no longer have a polynomial. We are no longer in a is no longer a polynomial. You can imagine it to be a squared, but what will it do for you? You can't write it as a minus b and a plus b because जो आपकी factorization होगी वो square root of x की terms में होगी. Is that right or wrong? Okay, let me continue on with you. Okay, it's of the form a squared minus b squared. मैंने मान लिया. फिर क्या करें? What's the next thing we do?
तो फिर a की वैल्यू x square root y हो जाएगी and then
Square root of xy.
square root of x.
Right.
And then x z की value is going to be
Yeah.
square root of x multiplied by z.
Right.
So I'm going to like expand it in the form a squared minus b squared, which is going to become square root of x multiplied
Yeah.
square root of x multiplied by y,
Hmm.
square root of x multiplied by z, and also it is going to be multiplied by square root of x.
But how? So this is of the form. Let's say अगर मैं इसको a squared minus b squared की फॉर्म में करता भी जाऊँ तो ये हो जाएगी square root of x y minus square root of x z multiplied by something like this, and then you'll have other things coming up, right? So what will that do for you? And other terms plus other terms, right? Then what? ये कर दिया मैंने. फिर नहीं, this is not factorization. This is a, अगर ये मैं मान भी लूँ, पहले तो ये factors नहीं है because you have square roots. अगर मैं ये मान भी लूँ कि ये factors हैं, factorization means it's only a product of two numbers. This is a product of a sum. This is a sum of a product. Because of this, there is a sum here. So factors का मतलब ये होता है only a product. When somebody says factorize 14 for me, so you don't say 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. That's not a factorization of 14. 14 factorization is 2 times 7. Right? Factorization means only multiplication. So you have added a plus sign in factorization, which is not what factorization is. Okay? Okay. That's good. Now, what do you see, and this is something which I wanted you to see. What do you see when you see this? Forget about this. So now, without knowing anything about this problem, मैं ये देख रहा हूँ. Can you factorize this further? Can you factorize this further? जी, किया हुआ है.
बस मतलब x कॉमन ले लिया.
x ये तो नहीं कॉमन आ सकता, यहाँ y z भी है.
सही है तो मतलब पहले से ही y था मतलब y से पहले से.
क्या मतलब? y z बाहर नहीं था, y z is multiplying by y minus z. पेरेंसी से क्या फ़र्क पड़ेगा? बिकॉज वाई जी मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा है वाई माइनस जेड से. यहाँ डालने और फिर एक यूँ डालने तो फ़र्क क्या पड़ा इसका? ये कह रहे हैं इट्स द सेम थिंग. जो मैंने लिखा हुआ था उसमें और इसमें क्या फ़र्क है? इट्स एग्जैक्टली द सेम थिंग. जी या नहीं Without thinking about it, let me write it out. I'm going to look at this expression and write down the answer, which is going to be, this is the factorization. Should be. Without, नहीं, x minus y होना चाहिए. मेरे ख्याल. Why? Now without, I didn't even do any work. I knew this had to turn out to be true. So why did I know it without? Actually मैंने इसका नहीं किया हुआ सवाल, मैंने फ़र्क नहीं किया हुआ है. But why is it कि as soon as you find out that y is equal to y minus z is a factor, I knew कि वो तीनों बाकी factors क्या हैं. I didn't actually have to do any work. Like मुझे actually आप लोगों ने बहुत ज़्यादा मेहनत की है, but that's good. I don't know how you got to this point. मुझे बड़ा मुश्किल. So how did you get to this point? How did you figure out this question? Like actually किस तरह, ये तुम्हें आप आंसर बता रहे हैं ना मुझे. How did you figure it out?
सर पहले बस इसको एक्सपेंड कर दिया
ठीक है, फिर
सर, फिर देखा कि कॉमन कौन सा आ रहा है दोबारा से पूरे
कॉमन तो बड़े तरीके से आ सकते हैं, राइट?
सर तीन मतलब
y भी ले सकता था, y भी ले सकता था इसका, और yz ले लेता कॉमन, xy ले लेता, बड़े तरीक़ों से मैं कर सकता था.
सर हमने पहले दो टर्म को करने की कोशिश की, उसके बाद इस तरह किया कि जितनी टर्म्स में x आता है
हाँ.
उनको अलग किया था
हाँ,
जो नहीं आता.
ओके, लेकिन यहाँ तक भी पहुँच कर इट इज़ नॉट वेरी ऑब्वियस, यहाँ से यहाँ तक भी जाना इतना ऑब्वियस नहीं था.
काफ़ी तरीकों से किया था उसके लिए.
ओके
सर सबने ट्राई मेथड और न्यूडल करने के बाद एक फाइनल वे थे जिसके साथ हमारा.
ओके, आप इस पर ज़रा गौर करें तमाम लोग. व्हाट डू यू सी? दिस इज़ अ ब्यूटिफुल पॉलिनोमियल. दिस पॉलिनोमियल, इस पर ज़रा गौर फरमाएं. मेरा सर्कल बहुत ही बुरा है, इट्स एम्बैरेसिंगली बैड. ओके, सो आई शुड मेक अ बेटर सर्कल. लेट मी ट्राई टू मेक अ बेटर सर्कल. How do I make a better circle? I am not very good at art. Slightly better, but not there. Okay. Now, can you relate this picture to this?
सर तीनों टर्म में x y z तीनों
वो तो तीनों में तो हैं, वो तो मुझे पता है जी.
सर x के साथ जो मल्टीप्लाई है उसके अलावा आगे वाले नंबर्स x के बाद y और फिर z, वहाँ पर x के बाद पहले y आया फिर नेगेटिव के साथ
Okay.
लेकिन y फिर z और नेक्स्ट आगे वो x भी नेगेटिव आया,
Yeah.
फिर z से जब
Yeah.
हमने स्टार्ट किया x को negative.
So, yeah, that's the idea. Look, there's a symmetry in the polynomial. The symmetry in the polynomial is कि अगर मैं आपको ये टर्म दूँ सिर्फ, right? And that's how I generated the polynomial. अगर मैं आपको सिर्फ ये टर्म दूँ, right? x y squared minus z squared, and then you replace x by y by z, and z by x. That's that equation. Replace x by y by z, z by x. So what will you get? You will generate this term. Then the next term you replace y by z, z by x, and x by y, and you will generate that term. There's a symmetry of x going to y going to z, right? There's a rotational symmetry. यानी कि आप normally polynomial को लिखते हैं f of x y z is equal to this silly thing, x y squared minus z squared plus y z squared minus x squared plus z x squared minus y squared, right? This is what f, इस तरह लिखने में किसी को कोई एतराज़ है? But now let me make a rotational symmetry. Let me rotate it. Let me take x to y. I'll take x to y, y to z, and z to x. I'll take x to y, y to x, y to z, and z to x. This is the rotation that I've carried out. X is replaced by y. Everywhere you see an x, replace it by y. Everywhere you see a y, replace it with z. And everywhere you see a z, replace it with y, with x. Okay? Rotation. So now what will happen to this term? ये पहली term क्या होगी?
y
Yeah. शाबाश. Y into z squared minus x squared plus अगली term होगी y will go to z x squared minus y squared, और फिर अगली term होगी plus z will go to x y squared minus z squared, right? But that's the same polynomial as this, right? That's what the symmetry was showing. Okay, if you rotate x to y and y to z, nothing changes. It's the same polynomial. I can rotate it one more time, right? बात समझ आ रही है आपको? And it will say the same polynomial. So now, अगर आपने now think about this. This is what is so beautiful about this. कि अगर once you have figured out, this is a good way, nothing wrong, बहुत अच्छी बात है, but there is something very beautiful about it, and that's what you want to see. So now, term. So now you appreciate the symmetry in the polynomial. जो आपको चीज़ दी जा रही है, it is symmetrical. Now, without doing any work, let me try, and this is what I'm looking at. Let me put y equal to z. या आपने पहले y minus z निकाला था, कौन सा फैक्टर निकाला था? x minus y निकाला था? y minus z. Let me put y equal to z into this polynomial. Let me try. If y is equal to z, what happens to this term? Y is equal to z. What's this term equal to? Put y equal to z. Y is equal to z. इसकी वैल्यू क्या होगी? Yellow box. 0. Yeah, when y is equal to z, it's equal to 0, right? This is gone. Okay. So what's this term equal to? When y is equal to z, this will be equal to z multiplied by z squared minus y squared, right? So when y is equal to z, this polynomial becomes z into z squared minus x squared plus z x squared minus z squared. What's this equal to? Ji? 0. Just equal to 0, right? This is identically equal to the 0 polynomial. Okay? So what that means is when you set y equal to z, the polynomial is the 0 polynomial. What does it mean? What that means is, remember, अगर ये factorize हो सकता, okay? So remember, let's say this is the polynomial, ये f x y z है. So अगर f of x y z का, if I put y equal to z, the polynomial goes down to 0, right? So then it indicates to me क्या चीज़ कि इसकी factorization में I should have a y minus z or a z minus y. I don't know क्या आना चाहिए. Why? Because आगे कुछ होगा, इसके कुछ और चीज़ g of x y z. I don't know क्या होगा. I don't know क्या आगे आएगा. So इसमें y minus z या z minus y वो irrelevant है. Okay? क्यों? क्योंकि when I put y equal to z, this polynomial is going to go to 0. ये बात समझ आ रही है आपको? So this indicates to me that in the factorization of this polynomial, y minus z or z minus y, उनके एक साइन का फ़र्क है, कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, must be a factor in this, in any factorization of this polynomial. Is this clear? ये बात समझ आइए? I look at this polynomial and say, aha, y equal to z sets this polynomial to 0, which means probably that in any factorization of this polynomial, y minus z should be a factor. Lekin now, what can I do? I know something about the polynomial. What do I know about the polynomial? It is symmetrical. It has a rotational symmetry in this very funny space of x going to y, going to y, going to z. So if y minus z is a solution, if y minus z is a factor, और क्या factors होने चाहिए? So then all, because अब by symmetry of f, what must turn out to be true is y minus z, z minus x, y going to z, z going to x, and then z going to x and x going to y. These must be factors of this polynomial. I don't know the constant. अभी तक मुझे constant का नहीं पता. There's a constant k here that I don't know about. क्योंकि constants के बारे में this argument does not tell me anything about constants. Is this clear? Now what do I do? What's the next step? I just multiply it out and figure out what the constant is. I multiply out these things. I can multiply them out very easily. It's a very quick multiplication. I multiply it out and find that k is equal to 1 and I'm done. Is this clear? Right? So the beautiful thing is symmetry and guessing a factor. बात समझ आई आपको? Huh? Do you understand that? So symmetry is a very, very powerful idea that you can use. Now what I would, सिर्फ I would urge you, मैं और नहीं आपके लिए destroy करना चाहता आपके जो हैं सवालात. सो व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू इज़ मैं 122 को छोड़ना चाहता हूँ. ओके, अब what I want you to do is I want you to revisit 122. जिन लोगों ने किया हुआ है, जिन लोगों ने नहीं किया हुआ, बट आज के लिए you should revisit 122 and think whether you can make such kinds of arguments and make it easier for you to guess the factorization, what it is. बात समझ आ रही है आपको? आप लोगों ने बहुत मेहनत की है and maybe some of you have worked and gotten some answers out, but I want you to think now cleverly and think about how a lot of your polynomials have very nice symmetries. So there's going to be some very tricky things going on, especially part D is not easy. So let me just spend some time on part D. C भी आसान नहीं है. It is not easy. Who did C? Part C. सबने किया, एक ही तरह किया सबने, आप सब लोगों ने एक ही तरह किया हुआ है. हाउ कम दिस? सो दैट्स नॉट अ गुड प्लेस टू बी. अगर हर कोई एक तरह कर रहा है, दैट्स नॉट अ गुड प्लेस टू बी. यू शुड रियली बी I want to know the process. I don't actually care about the end result. Tell me about the process. How did you get the factorization? So a10, so you started out with a to the 10th plus a to the 5th plus 1. Now what did you do? What was the idea? I just want to understand the thought process. क्या चीज़ हुआ?
Leaving a5 aside, we can add and subtract the powers of a. For example, a plus a power 10 plus a power 9 minus a power 9 until it is.
Okay, let's try. So a to the 10 plus a to the 9 minus a to the 9 plus a to the 8 minus a to the 8 plus a to the 7th minus a to the 7th plus a to the 6th minus a to the 6th plus a to the 5th plus a to the 4th minus a to the 4th. ये किए? Okay, that's a reasonable try, not an impossible thing to think about. Okay, now what? a to the 10 plus a to the 5 plus a to, ये मैंने कर दिया. ओके, आपने वो भी किया हुआ है इसको. What you want is you want a to the 5 minus a to the 5. ये किया हुआ है आपने? आपने नहीं किया हुआ, वो आपने किया हुआ. So there are two ways. Okay, interesting. Let's keep both ways. Let's first let Abdullah explain what his way was. Okay, now what? So you'll have alternating. So एक सेकेंड, a to the 9 लूँगा तो a plus 1. अगर यहाँ पे लूँगा a to the 8 तो a minus 1 आएगी कॉमन, राइट? So a plus 1 a minus 1 ऑल्टरनेट करता जाएगा. एक सेकेंड आते हैं. So let me try. So this is equal to a to the 9 a plus 1 plus a to plus रखूँ या माइनस रखूँ? Minus. So minus a to the 8 a minus 1 and then you'll have plus again, right? अब ये हो गया, अब फिर माइनस दोबारा, फिर आपका माइनस. So minus a to the 7th a minus 1 and so on and so forth. चलता जाएगा ये, right? फिर ये हो गया, फिर इसको भी यूँ ही करेंगे. यही आपने किया हुआ इसको. Minus a to the 6 plus a to the 5 को भी यही किया हुआ. So this would be minus a to the 6th a minus 1. इस तरह चलता जाऊँ? हाँ? Minus a to the नहीं ठहरे, गलत हो गया. a to the 9th एक ये, फिर एक ये पेयर बना, फिर एक ये पेयर बना, फिर एक ये पेयर बना. वेरी गुड. सो देन फिर आपका ये पेयर बना. नहीं, ये पेयर तो नहीं बना. फिर प्लस a to the 5th करूँ, क्योंकि ये प्लस a to the 5th है.
सर ये वाला लास्ट में ले लेंगे ना, इसको बिल्कुल
इसको ना करूँ मैं. सो इसको मैं छोड़ दूँ?
नहीं सर, ये जो जिस तरह हमारा ये वाला लिखा हो उसको बिल्कुल लास्ट में ले लेंगे, उसको नहीं करेंगे.
अगला मैं क्या लिखूँ, मैं सिर्फ ये बता दें. व्हाट डू आई राइट?
a पर 5 into a
प्लस a to the 5
minus
minus a to the 5 a minus 1 Okay, so but you have minus a to the 6th plus a to the 5th. Oh, ठीक है, fine. Okay, fine. ठीक. Minus a to the 4th, a minus 1. चलता जाऊँ इस तरह. Minus a cubed, a minus 1, and now what? चलता जाता हूँ. Okay, फिर आखिर में क्या होगा? So now I'm done. Whatever, आखिर तक पहुँच गया. फिर क्या हुआ?
और a बार 5
प्लस 1 आखिर में आएगा माइनस a इंटू a माइनस 1, राइट? ये नहीं आएगा. माइनस a स्क्वेयर प्लस a एंड देन यू हैव आखिर माइनस 1 a माइनस 1. ओके, नाउ व्हाट?
सर इसमें प्लस
हाँ?
इस सारे प्रोसेस में a प्लस a बार 5 नहीं होगा.
a टू द पावर 5 एक सेकेंड, a पावर 5 यहाँ पे नहीं है.
नहीं सर वो 3 है ना ऊपर 3 लिखे हुए हैं. a बार 5 माइनस a बार
नहीं, ये तो अब्दुल्ला ने कहा था कि ये नहीं है, ये उसने नहीं रखा हुआ. तो फिर क्या तरीका है? व्हाट आई दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज वांटिंग.
प्लस वो कॉमन प्लस a5 प्लस a4 प्लस और आपने इधर माइनस a5 कॉमन लिया, मैंने उधर प्लस a4 कॉमन.
यहाँ पे
यस सर, मैंने a5 और ऐड और सब्ट्रैक्ट नहीं किया, मुझे a5
ठीक है. तो आपने ये नहीं किया सब्ट्रैक्ट, आपने ऐसे मैं आपका तरीका फिगर आउट करना चाहता हूँ पहले. सो आपने यहाँ पे क्या किया? आई वांट टू नो व्हाट यू डिड.
a4 कॉमन लिया,
यहाँ पे
प्लस a4
माइनस a6 के बाद ये टर्म है या नहीं है?
कॉमन ये टर्म.
इसको इरेज कर दूँ. ओके, नाउ व्हाट? सो माइनस a टू द 7th प्लस a टू द 6th है. नाउ व्हाट्स द नेक्स्ट टर्म?
जिस तरह शुरू में हमने
अगली मुझे बस लिखवा दें. टेल मी व्हाट इज इट दैट यू वांट मी टू डू. बताएं.
a प्लस a4 कॉमन लेंगे
प्लस a4
और a प्लस 1,
a+1
तो बाकी प्रोसेस कंटिन्यू होगा इस तरह.
a5 प्लस a4 आपका ये आ गया है. सो आपका अभी माइनस a6 बचा हुआ है अभी, राइट? माइनस a6 अभी पड़ा हुआ है, बिकॉज आई डोंट हैव माइनस a6 देयर, राइट? इज दैट व्हाट यू हैव? Okay, so why, so you think about it, why did you add plus a5 minus a5?
So, we so factor बना हुआ था, तो इसका question है मैंने देखा था, इस तरह करने से factorize हो रहे हैं. So a to the 5 का मैंने अलग किया,
Okay,
a to the 10 से 1 का.
okay, and then you can factorize, right? I mean, once you figure this out, this is what I was curious by, कि ये क्यों किया था आप लोगों ने? I was kind of curious कि why did you do this? एक चीज़ मैं छोटी सी आपको बताना चाहता हूँ, which was, so I'm just going to move on. ये ठीक है, यहाँ पे अगर आपने ये वाला तरीका अडॉप्ट किया हुआ है, फिर ठीक है. I was interested in your way, which I had not thought about. जो पार्ट D है, I'm just going to quickly move on to part D, which is x cubed plus y cubed. Oh, a cubed. A cubed, same thing, but I'll change it to a cubed plus b cubed plus c cubed minus 3abc. Okay. Now, how did you figure this one out?
सर
This was very hard. Yeah, for me. जी
हमारे पास a to the 3 a क्यूब और b क्यूब है.
जी है.
सर अगर हम इसके अंदर प्लस 3a स्क्वायर भी माइनस 3a स्क्वायर प्लस 3ab स्क्वायर माइनस 3ab स्क्वायर, सर अगर वो ऐड करेंगे तो ये
a plus b cubed बन जाएगा.
सर उसके बाद फिर जब वो चीज़ें ऐड करेंगे, मतलब जितने टर्म को हम ऐड करेंगे उनको भी कॉमन उनमें से भी कॉमन आ जाएगा. माइनस 3ab इंटू a प्लस b प्लस, मतलब वो कॉमन हो जाएगा.
अच्छा, एक्शन चैलेंज जी, मुझे प्रोसेस समझाएं कि किस तरह पहुँचे, किस तरह यहाँ तक.
a प्लस b का होल क्यूब प्लस c का क्यूब, वो भी a क्यूब प्लस b क्यूब.
आप चाहते हैं इसको बनाना है, यू वांट टू मेक इट इनटू एन a plus b होल क्यूब्ड
प्लस c क्यूब
प्लस
c क्यूब
माइनस 3ab इंटू c
हाँ 3abc into
C plus A plus B.
okay.
A cube plus B cube equals A plus B into A square minus AB.
सॉरी, इसको अब आगे कर रहे हैं. ओके, a plus b cubed is equal to
No sir, A plus B whole cube
Yeah.
एक टर्म है
जी.
और C cube एक टर्म है.
right.
सर हमें एक चीज पता है A cube plus B cube
Yeah.
equals A plus B sir A plus B plus C into
You have something and then you use this and then you're done, right? Okay, that's cool. What I want you to think about is something again slightly differently. पहली चीज़ आपको नज़र आ रही है a symmetry in the problem. Is there a symmetry here? Is there a symmetry here? है या नहीं है? कौन सी सिमेट्री है? कौन सी सिमेट्री है यहाँ पे?
A cube plus B cube plus C cube.
सिमेट्री कौन सी है? What's the rotation?
C
A going to B going to C, right? If you change A to B and B to C, it stays the same, right? Yeah, you still have that the symmetry here, right? In fact, you have more than that. So एक आपके पास, you clearly have the symmetry A going to B, going to C, going to A. But you have more than that too. You have more symmetries. If you look at the polynomial. How about if you interchange AB? Just let C stay. यहाँ पे remember, if you just interchange YZ, then it's no longer a symmetric it's not the same polynomial. This had no symmetry under YZ interchange. ये बात समझ आ रही है आपको? हाँ? So if this is f of x, y, z, this is not equal to f of y, x, z. ये वाला, you can just check it. ये वाला polynomial, अगर इसको मैं कहूँ this is f of x, y, z, और अगर मैं सिर्फ y, x को interchange करूँ और z को ना interchange करूँ, तो this is no longer the same polynomial. Is this clear to everybody? Yeah? Why? Because अगर मैं x, y को, let's say मैं x, y को interchange करता हूँ, इस term के साथ क्या होता है? It becomes negative itself, right? And that's fundamentally broken. The term went to negative itself, that means it's not the same polynomial. X is not the same as minus x. Is this clear? Nobody is understanding a word. अगर नहीं समझ आई, you have to ask me. क्या चीज़ समझ नहीं आई इसमें? इस polynomial में there is no symmetry of x going to y. इसमें कौन सी symmetry थी? X can go to y and y can go to z. That was the symmetry, right? Yeah. So यहाँ पर x, y, यहाँ पर है a b interchange की symmetry. Yeah, a b को interchange कर दी, वो फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So you have these symmetries. a b symmetry है यहाँ पे. And then you can obviously see b c symmetry है and a c symmetry है. Right? All these symmetries exist. You can just interchange two numbers and nothing happens to it, right? Now also you know something. If you set a equal to b, does this polynomial go to 0? No, it does not go to 0. So that means a minus b is not a factor. Okay? If you put a equal to minus b, does this polynomial go to 0? If you put a equal to minus b, does this polynomial go to 0?
minus B.
A equal to minus b. Yeah? जाता है? नहीं जाता. a equal to minus b पे नहीं जाता. ये दो टर्म्स आपस में कैंसिल करेंगी, लेकिन ये दो टर्म्स आपस में कैंसिल नहीं कर रही. ये नहीं जाता. Okay? So that means, now think of a polynomial. I mean, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of a factorization जिसमें there are these symmetries, okay? लेकिन a plus b, a minus b is not a factor, right? तो फिर क्या हो सकता है? what would be a reasonable try? मैं तो सिर्फ ट्राई की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, डू यू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? कोशिश कर रहा हूँ आगाज़ करने की कि किस तरह मैं शुरू किस तरह करूँ बग़ैर ज़्यादा मेहनत किए हुए, राइट? सो व्हाट वुड बी अ रीज़नेबल ट्राई? आई मीन थिंक ऑफ अ लिनियर फैक्टराइजेशन अगर इसकी बनती हो तो क्या हो सकता है? थिंक ऑफ अ लिनियर फैक्टर जिसमें ए बी सी को रोटेट करें तो ए गोइंग टू बी गोइंग टू सी से कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, लेकिन ए बी आपस में भी इंटरचेंजेबल हैं, राइट? आई मीन इफ़ यू थिंक अबाउट इट, आई मीन you'll have to think about it कि this would be probably a good starting place for this symmetry to exist, because this is symmetrical under ABC interchange. It also has the AB interchange, ABC interchange and AC symmetry. So it very few linear, आप सोचें can you come up with a linear polynomial जिसमें ये तीनों symmetries मौजूद हों, ये सारी symmetries मौजूद हों? Very hard to think of one, right? So this is a very natural starting place. मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि this would be a very natural starting place to begin with, and once you have this, then you can start to come up with, मैं आपको एक और तरह सोचने की बता रहा हूँ, you want cubes coming here, you want a cubed, b cubed and c cubed. So in order to generate a cube, b cube, c cube, what do you need? A square, b squared and c squared. So you probably want a square plus b squared plus c squared because you need the cubes. But now you have generated a lot of mess that you have to cancel off, right? Okay, when you multiply it, you are going to generate a lot of terms that need to be cancelled. And then you have to figure out how to cancel those terms while maintaining the AB, BC, AC symmetry, right? So अगर मैं कोई term add करता हूँ, मैं यहाँ पे मुझे नहीं पता मुझे क्या term add करनी है, अगर मैं यहाँ पे AB term add करता हूँ तो what will I need to add also? I'm not saying कि यहाँ पर है, क्योंकि मैं अगर मैं AB term add करूँगा तो और मैं क्या add करना पड़ेगा? What am I required to add? I'm required to add AC, and what else am I required to add? BC, right? I'm required to add these terms by the symmetry of A going to B going to C, okay? Or chunke I'm dealing with products, that's why the symmetry is maintained. I will not add a square. Why will I not add a square? Would I add an AB squared term here? I could. अगर मैं AB squared term add करूँगा तो note कि क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे. अगर मैं AB squared term यहाँ पे add करूँगा तो फिर what silly thing am I doing? Could I add an AB squared term here? और यहाँ पे it could be alpha हो सकता है यहाँ पे. I don't know the, so यहाँ पे ये k हो सकता है. I don't know how much is required. So this could be a k because it maintains a symmetry. बात समझ आ रही है? The same constant has to appear in all three terms. लेकिन क्या मैं a squared b डाल सकता हूँ यहाँ पे? What do you think? Why or why not? या b या क्यों नहीं डाल सकता? मैं डालना चाहता हूँ. अगर मैं यहाँ पे प्लस या माइनस के की जगह अल्फ़ा ए बी स्क्वायर डालता हूँ तो फिर क्या होगा? व्हाट इज़ सिली अबाउट दिस आइडिया? जी वो तो मुझे ऐड करने पड़ेंगे सारे. वंस आई डू दिस आई विल ऑल्सो हैव टू ऐड ए स्क्वायर्ड बी. व्हाई डू आई हैव टू ऐड ए स्क्वायर्ड बी? Because of the which symmetry? A to B, B to A वाली symmetry. नहीं ये वाली नहीं, A B B A symmetry भी है. अगर मैं A B को interchange करूँ तो this term should go into this term. So this symmetry forces this term also. Okay? And other terms आएंगी, बहुत सारी और terms आएंगी. लेकिन why is it this is a silly idea?
Because it ruins the symmetry.
No, it doesn't ruin the symmetry. I've just made it symmetric, right? बेटे ये देखें, अगर मैं a स्क्वायर्ड को मल्टीप्लाई करूँगा इसके साथ तो व्हाट्स द वर्स्ट दैट आई विल जनरेट? टोटल जो टर्म्स होंगी अगर मैं पावर्स को ऐड करूँ तो क्या होगी? इसकी पावर 2 है, इसकी पावर 1 है, इसका मतलब है कहाँ तक मैं जा सकता हूँ? पावर 3 तक मैं टोटल जा सकता हूँ अगर मैं टोटल पावर्स को सम करूँ. इससे यहाँ पर अगर इसकी पावर 2 है, इसकी पावर 1 है, तो मेरे पास टोटल पावर 3 से ऊपर कुछ नहीं जा रहा. अब यहाँ पे मैं 2 को 1 से मल्टीप्लाई करता हूँ तो आई गेट अ पावर 3. ओके ग्रेट. तो मेरे पास जो मैंने जंक जनरेट किया था वो पावर 3 से ऊपर कुछ नहीं था. अब मैं पावर 4 जनरेट कर रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, तो मैं खामखा में अपने पॉलिनोमियल के अंदर गंद और डाल रहा हूँ. डालने की ज़रूरत, क्या पता मुझे फोर्स करे, बट अनलेस द पॉलिनोमियल फोर्सेस मी, I would not want to add these terms in. This would be a silly idea to begin with. क्या पता अगर मेरा ये पहला आइडिया फेल कर जाए तो फिर मैं दोबारा आकर ड्राइंग बोर्ड पे जाऊँ and think again about the problem. Okay? But this would be a silly idea and this would not be a silly idea. मैं ये आपको समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि बग़ैर काम किए हुए how might you want to think about this problem by using symmetries of the problem. Okay, there's a symmetry in the problem, you notice the symmetries, you look for factorizations, and then this looks like a very natural linear polynomial having these symmetries, and then you try to generate cubic terms. You put these three things in because you need the c cubed, the b cubed, the a cubed, but now you know you have generated a lot of junk, so you need to cancel it off. I don't know the constant k. That needs to be determined by actually expanding it out and looking at it, okay, what is k, okay? Lekin it's the same k, it's just one k that I have to figure out. Or agar, if I can figure out that k, then I'm done because I have my factorization. Is this clear? Okay? So, हमने ज़्यादा काम नहीं किया आज, but what I want you to do is, I want you to think, so do the questions again. अब ये copies अपनी दे दें, I want to grade the work. Do the work again. So homework is again the same problems. I'm not changing the homework. It's still 120 जो भी था, क्या था? 122 to 126, but this time with symmetries. Think about symmetries. Okay? So that's what I want you to do again. But I want to grade the work now.